because that would not be good. So this is the Patriotic poof wreath, and this is probably going to be a different poof than you're used to seeing. And I'll be honest with you guys, I don't really like the poof. I don't make too many poof wreaths because I don't like them. I don't like the way mine come out. I feel like I can see the wreath form, even though I know a lot of the times people add additional ruffles or spirals. Hi, Cheryl.
Hi.
Cheryl's here. I wasn't sure you were going to be here, Cheryl.
Yeah, I changed my mind about the Bible study.
What's that?
I changed my mind about the Bible study.
Oh, so I was more important, huh? That's.
Aren't you
I
sweet?
feel honored.
Yeah, you should.
That's awesome. Yay. I'm just going to go ahead. Cheryl, is this your first time attending a live class or no?
No.
Okay. So, I'm just going to mute everybody just to cut down on the background noise. And if you have any questions, just go ahead. You know how to unmute yourself, right?
Yep, I do.
Okay, just to cut down on some background noise. What I was telling everyone is that I don't typically do a lot of poof wreaths because I don't like the way mine come out. I feel like you can see the wreath frame, and I like ruffles. I'm a ruffle girl. I like making wreaths with ruffles, and but this poof wreath is a little bit different because the poofs are a lot tighter and squished together. And I have made these before. I've actually made these with 10-inch mesh too. You can use 10-inch mesh. And really the only difference between this type of a poof wreath and the other poof wreaths that you may be used to seeing is that your poofs are going to be the same size. So typically when you do a poof wreath, they're between 10 and 12 inches. Where's the end of my rule? Here it is. They're between 10 and 12 inches. But you space them farther apart on your wreath form. And you go ahead and you add the pipe cleaners ahead of time. And I think I posted a video in the group, I want to say maybe the day before yesterday, to prepare everyone to make the Mother's Day wreath. And that just shows how, normally I use a work wreath form that has the pipe cleaners already attached. But on occasion, I may not have any, so I'll just get my Dollar Tree frame and I'll add my own. For this type of a wreath, you don't need to put your pipe cleaners on ahead of time. But what I was trying to explain is that typically with a regular poof wreath and with a ruffle wreath, you're going to do 10 pipe cleaners on the outside. Or actually, when I do it, I do the 2 outer bars. I put 10 on the outside, spaced 4 inches apart, and I put 8 on the inside, 2 bars, spaced 4 inches apart. And do a little bit of hot glue so it stays in place. We're going to be doing that for the Mother's Day wreath, which is coming up shortly. So if you don't have a work wreath form for that and you want to attend the class, just go back and look at the video in the group, and it shows you how to add your pipe cleaners. So, and that's just the way a lot of wreath makers do it. And so I found the video on YouTube, and so I posted it because that's exactly how I do mine. So I'm just getting a drink. 1 second here. I push my chair in. So you can use either zip ties for this, but the thing of it is, if you do use zip ties, I would recommend using longer ones. Now I have some shorter ones too. I have some 4-inch ones, but these are longer. I'm not quite sure how long these are. I think these are actually, they vary in length, but they're longer than the 4-inch. I mean, the 4-inch are pretty short, and they may work. If that's all you have is the 4-inch ones, these are the 4-inch ones that you can get from Walmart. You can get like 100 of them in a pack for like $1. But I kind of feel that they're not going to be long enough to hold the mesh. So if you want to use zip ties, just use the longer ones. Or you can use pipe cleaners too. And I'm going to show you how to do it both ways in case you don't have zip ties. So it doesn't really matter. These are just some I had from the Dollar Tree. But if you are going to use pipe cleaners, cut them in half because you're not going to need the full one. You don't want to waste. So I'm actually not quite sure which one I want to do yet. I might do pipe cleaners or I might do zip ties. Zip ties kind of annoy me sometimes because if I feel like I don't like the way my poof looks and I want to move it, it's a lot easier for me to take a pipe cleaner off and redo it than it is to have to cut the zip tie. So that's kind of why I might not want to use zip ties here, because then I know if I have to redo it, it's going to be harder for me to redo it. So let's just get started. One thing I will recommend is that when you do your first tie down is to use a zip tie. And what I mean by that is you need to secure the end piece of your mesh. So when you start making your poofs, let me just see who else has joined us here. Hi, Emily. Emily's here. I got you muted. Hello, dear. How are you? I hope you're feeling well. I muted you so I can't hear you. Let me see if I can unmute you, just you for a second here. How are you feeling?
Much better.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I'm glad you were able to join us. I just happened to look up and I saw that you were here, so I wanted to say hello.
I'm only going to watch today because
Okay.
I really want to know how to do this one.
Okay. So and you saw what I didn't know when you popped in, but you saw that you can either use
Just
pipe
now.
cleaners or zip ties. You saw that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to get started. I'm going to mute you again just to cut down on the background noise. Just pop in if you have any questions, okay?
Okay.
All right. Okay, so you first, like I said, I would use a zip tie to first tie your mesh down to get it ready because it's a little bit more secure. I think that's a long enough one. So let's move this out of the way for just a minute. You know what I think I want to do? I kind of think I want to get my mesh holder out. You know, the mesh holder is nice, not just for cutting mesh, but just for like holding it so it doesn't roll all over the place. If you don't have one of these yet, it's actually nice just to use to hold your mesh when you're making a poof, because then it doesn't slide, fall off the table. And so I'm going to put it on my mesh holder. And all you do is you just push it down through under this handy dandy yardstick thingy, and it holds it for you. And it's not going to go rolling off the table. And again, if you ever want to order one of these, look up Susie's Wreaths and Things on Facebook, and you can get one of these nifty things. So just start. Don't worry so much if your edge is fraying a little bit, because that's going to be, I think I'm just going to cut that off though, because that's kind of annoying here. Don't worry, like I said, about it fraying, because it's going to be tied underneath. You're not going to see any of that. So just start by gathering your end. And I would say maybe have a couple of inches there gathered. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just make sure that you have it all there. And just go ahead and go underneath. It doesn't really matter where you attach it, because you're probably going to snip that off after anyway. And just go ahead and put your zip tie through just to hold it. I'm just going to snip that off. This is mesh that I got on clearance at Hobby Lobby, and I think a lot of other people also got the same mesh. And I was surprised that it was even on clearance. It's, you know, it's Patriotic mesh. I'm thinking, you know, we haven't even reached the 4th of July yet. Why are we putting Patriotic mesh on clearance? So I'm going to get my measuring mat out because, and I feel like I want to go in the other direction here. Well, this might be okay, because I want to do 10 inches. So go ahead and just get your measuring mat and measure out 10 inches. Go ahead start in your first section here. So this is one section. And you're going to go around these 2 bars, okay? The 2 middle bars with your pipe cleaner or your zip tie, which is, again, why I recommended having you know what, I think that'll be okay. I should have, no, I need to start on this section. Okay. Start in the section where you zip tied your piece in, if that makes sense. So it's actually zip tied to this section, so that's where I'm going to start. So go ahead. You can fluff your poof out after. So if you want to use a pipe cleaner, where'd they go? I'm going to show you both ways. Just get your half of a pipe cleaner and come up underneath with it, okay? So come up underneath these 2 middle bars here with your pipe cleaner. Can you see that? How it's around the 2 middle bars, okay? And you still have your piece with your 10 inches. Just go ahead and place it down with your pipe cleaner and give it a couple of twists. Now, if you have half a pipe cleaner, you don't really have to worry about it showing because it's so short. And when you start squishing your poofs over, you're going to hide it. So you can go ahead and you can fluff it out a little bit. This is nice mesh for Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby, typically their mesh is not the best quality. I just want to cut this off a little bit under here. This piece is a little long. It's sticking out. There we go. Okay. So there we have our first poof. We're just going to push it over. I feel like you can't see me. Here we go. Just going to push it over. Now we're going to fit, I want to say, maybe 5 or 6 of these in one section, okay? Instead of how typically you see the poofs and they're bigger like that. These are going to be squished over as far as they can go, okay? So let's do this again. I think I'm just going to use the pipe cleaners. Like I said, because that way, if I don't like the way my poof looks, I can take it out. I don't have to worry about snipping off the zip tie, which is a pain in the neck, as you know. Now, leave that there for now. We can go around and we can snip these off after, or we could just go ahead and push them around to the back, this little extra piece that you have here. But you're going to see by using the pipe cleaner, it's going to be a lot neater in the back, too. You're not going to have the zip tie thingies sticking out. But if you have zip ties, that's fine. So let's try this again. So take your mesh. Try to get it as you're measuring it to have the ends going underneath, if that makes sense. Just go ahead and measure 10 inches. Okay. And do the same thing again. Squish it over. Don't worry about straightening out your poof until you get it secured. So I'm just going up underneath again with my half a pipe cleaner around the 2 middle bars. I know you can't really see what I'm doing because I'm holding on to my poof here. Lay the poof down, and there's my pipe cleaner right there. Just give it a couple of tight twists, and you can fluff it and push it over. And this is a very metallic mesh. It's very, I want to say it's almost like a wide foil. I feel like this poof is a little bit bigger than the last one. I'm not quite sure. But this is why poofs drive me crazy, because I always want to make sure each of my poofs is the same size, and if it's not, I want to strangle somebody. I think this is okay. And when they get all squished together when you're done, because they're all going to be like that. They're going to be nice and squished together. Oops. I don't want to pull that out. my zip tie. Make sure you have enough on there. Pull through your zip tie that you don't pull it right out like I almost did. Okay, let's keep going. I'm just going to keep measuring 10 inches. So secure it first and then fluff it out. And I hope this is making sense to you. Please stop me if it isn't. I know it's kind of hard to see. And then you can go ahead and just keep pushing it over as you go. This one might be a little bit smaller on the end, but once they all get in there, it's not going to matter. Inches. Oops, wait a minute, I'm going to the next section. I don't want to do that. I'm going to stay in my same section here. So I'm just going up underneath with my pipe cleaner. You can see it there. I don't want to let go of my poof. On the two center bars, okay? Just kind of hold it as good as you can. And push your little gathered poof in there where you've got it. You're holding it with your hand. Just a couple, 3 twists is good. And again, if you feel like your poofs are getting a little bit weird in size, just take the pipe cleaner off and start again. But that's the look that you're looking for. They're just going to be their poofs, but they're just squished together. This one looks a little small, but it is what it is. Okay, so we have 4 so far. I'm going to try to fit 2 more. Maybe I can just do 1. I want to see how it looks. I think I might be able to fit 2 more. You can definitely do this with 10-inch mesh too, because I have done it. I have a picture somewhere. I have to, I think it was actually a Patriotic one too that I did last year. And it was a disaster actually. I'll tell you what happened. I bought 2 rolls of poly jute mesh, which if you've ever seen poly jute mesh, it's just poly mesh with lines of jute burlap running through it. And it frays. It frays quite a bit. You cannot cut it with the wood burning tool because of the jute that's in it, the burlap. It won't cut through that. Let me see who else has joined us here. It will not cut through that. So, no, we have Cheryl, we have Jamie, we have Joanne, we have Emily. So we have a small group tonight, but that's okay. So what I had done was I had the intention of making a ruffle wreath with it. And I cut 1 roll. This is caught here. I cut 1 roll and it just frayed like the dickens. I tried to put it on my wreath and it just was a disaster. And what I do now, and I know this may seem crazy, but if I ever use poly jute mesh again, I use scissors and I cut it in between the lines. And you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, that must take forever. It is time consuming, but by cutting it in between the lines, it does not fray. And I think I have a roll of poly jute, so I can show you what I mean. I just bought some for I think this is for the watermelon wreath, because the watermelon wreath is going to have a combination of poly jute and I believe it's green. So it's just, this is from Hobby Lobby, if you can see that, mesh ribbon, whoops, with jute, and that's what that is. Those are lines of burlap. So all I did when I when I cut it is I just cut in between the lines with the scissors, and that helped it from fraying. But I was so frustrated that day, and I didn't really realize it at the time that I could do that. So I did a poof wreath with it. I had another roll, and I did this, and I made little poofs out of the 10-inch mesh. So I'll have to show you a picture of that because it came out kind of nice. I think I'm going to put one more in this section here. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looks like we're going to have 6 per section. So just keep pushing it over. And again, I like these poofs too because it hides your wreath frame, especially if you have a mesh that's very light in color and you have your dark wreath frame. It's frustrating to get your poofs all nice and pretty, and then you see the wreath frame through them. Now, I think that's why a lot of wreath makers, again, they add extra ruffles or spirals because it does help to cover the wreath frame. If you have a thicker mesh like this with a wide foil, this is called a wide foil, it does cover better. So that's one section. So we have 6 poofs in one section. I think that's a good amount. So see how easy that was? Is anybody confused? Do you all get it, or do you need me to show you a different angle? Speak now or forever hold your peace. How we doing? Everybody's quiet. You all went to sleep. Do you guys know how to unmute yourself? Let's keep going. Hold on a second here. I'm going to unmute you all. Does anybody have any questions?
Nope. Great.
Does it make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, good. I gotta plug in my charger before I lose juice here. So that's pretty easy. Pretty easy. Let me mute you again. Guys, give me 1 second. I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. I'm back, you guys. Sorry about that. Okay, so that's really all there is to it. Whoops, I'm coming off of my shoulder here. And you're only going to need 1 roll of mesh for this. So if you have a lot of rolls of 10-inch mesh, this is a nice method. And my second favorite, or actually this is not my first favorite. My first favorite way to use 10-inch mesh is the method that we're going to be using in the Mother's Day wreath. And you'll see that one's pretty cool. That's it's sort of like a poof ruffle. And you cut your mesh, if you're going to be attending that class, you cut your mesh into 21 by 10-inch pieces, and you make a mesh, or you make a ruffle poof with it. And those are my favorite ways to use 10-inch mesh, or 20-inch, I'm sorry, 21-inch. I've actually heard that some people do a regular ruffle with 21-inch. So they cut it, and then they scrunch it up the middle, just like a ruffle. But I'm thinking that that's going to make the cut ends really fray, because you're not really supposed to ruffle 21-inch mesh that way. I'm still curious, though. Well, we had a really beautiful day here in upstate New York, and I'm telling you right now, it's been a long time coming. We had snow and cold and rain and wind and just like it wouldn't end. And we brought my doggie out. I'm just counting my poofs here, so we're going to do 6 per section. I brought my doggie out today, and look how clean that looks in the back. Nice and neat. I think this zip tie's coming out. It better not be. Uh-oh, look what I just did. How in God's name did that happen? Zip ties are supposed to be strong. Hold on a second here. Now my poof is going to be too small. My doggie was a little bit confused, I think, because she hadn't been outside in so long. She was a little scared. I mean, she'd been outside, but just basically to go to the bathroom and come back in again. So, because it's just been so cold, I have to put the zip tie back on again because it came right out. Sorry about that. And I just literally pulled on it just a little bit. Oh, come on here. Where did I get these zip ties? I think these are Dollar General zip ties. Maybe they're not as good. Who knows? Yeah, that's good. Now it's made my last poof a little bit too small, but when I come around the other side, it'll be fine. I'm not going to worry too much about it. So I have like a little tiny poof on the end there. Oh, well. So 10 inches. Now, you can add ribbon to these wreaths. I typically don't. I like to just add a sign and then maybe some, I think I have some little stars I might put in. I just think these poof wreaths don't really look that great with a lot of ribbon. You could add a bow. Just poof it out as you go. I like to try to tuck the ends in a little bit. I just like the way that looks better when the ends are tucked in. And squish it over. You see how nice my mesh holder is holding that? So again, as you're making your poof, try to get those ends tucked underneath. I think it just looks nicer that way. Ten inches. And remember, you're going up and around from the underneath, around the 2 middle bars. If you happen to have a wreath form that just has 3 bars and not 4, then just go around the middle bar, because that way you'll have even distribution of your mesh, and that's what you want. I guess if you wanted to go ahead and tie your pipe cleaners around the 2 middle bars before you started, if it's a little bit difficult for you to try to hold your poof and, feed your pipe cleaner up underneath, sure, you could do that. Put, because we have 6 poofs per section, so put 6 pipe cleaners per section. I would most definitely put a little bit of glue on there so they don't slide around. I need more pipe cleaners. Because it can be a little bit challenging trying to hold your poof and feed your pipe cleaner through. Got so many of these pipe cleaners from Christmas time. I grabbed like 10 containers or 10 packages from Christmas time. Let me see how many I have here now. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we need 2 more. This mesh is a little bit thick, but half a pipe cleaner is good. Just make sure that you twist it a couple of times. And actually, I'm probably not even going to go back and cook those off because you can't even see them. The pipe cleaners are hidden inside the mesh, so you can't even see that they're there. I think a silver pipe cleaner would work here. Blue. I just happened to grab red. So there's our number 5. I'm going to do one more. You know what, I got to measure it first. And I think I forgot to mention, this is a Dollar Tree frame. This is a 14-inch, I think they're actually 14.5 inches from Dollar Tree. So if you have a bigger frame, you might need to get more mesh. This isn't quite tight enough. Hold on a second here. There's 2 sections. Look how pretty that is. Doesn't take very long. It took us about a half an hour to do 2 sections. If you want your poofs smaller, you can make them smaller. They don't have to be 10 inches. If you don't want them quite so squished together, you can do 5 poofs per section. Instead of 6.
Christina,
Yes, ma'am.
if you do 6 10-inch per section, that's 60 inches, which is 5 feet, and you've got 6 sections, that's 30 feet, so that's exactly 1 roll of mesh.
How about that? I planned that out. Did you know that?
Yes, I did.
Actually, I didn't. I didn't even think about it. I was kind of thinking in the back of my head, I hope I have enough mesh. Because I can't remember how many I used the last time I did this method. It's one of those things like, when you have a favorite recipe, how many of you don't bother to write it down? I have a recipe for pierogies that my mom passed on to me because I'm Ukrainian. That's good math, by the way, Emily. but I don't have it written down. It's all in my head. So that's kind of how I am with wreaths. And I have people that come to me and they say, Christina, you know, how many pieces of mesh did you use? Or how many pieces of ribbon? I'm like, I have absolutely no idea. Let's see, let me count. Where's my section here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 2 here so far. Now, as long as I'm measuring these exactly 10 inches. So I'm trying to be precise. Only time will tell. And I did have to cut a little bit off of the end there. So I'm glad you did that, Emily. I was kind of thinking about that. I actually did some painting today. I went out and I did some yard work, and my craft room slash home office slash private room away from my children is off of the back deck that goes out into the backyard. And I noticed there was quite a bit of paint peeling around my my windows, the white paint around my window frame. And I was out there scraping, and I did a little bit of painting. I don't think I've ever done exterior painting before in my life. I've done a lot of interior painting. And one thing I noticed about exterior paint is it's very thick. It's a lot thicker than interior paint. Like, you know, a lot of times when you're painting your walls in your house and you're not really paying attention and you hold the paintbrush up and it drips all over the place. Exterior paint doesn't do that. It may have just been the brand that I bought, but I noticed it's a lot thicker. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I don't know, Emily. Let's hope I'm measuring this right so we have enough to fill the wreath. I have a couple of sign options too. I actually found a big bag full of 4th of July stuff that I forgot that I had from last year. Isn't that nice when that happens? You find a bag of ribbon or a box of mesh that you forgot that you got on clearance the year before, and it's like Christmas, and oh my God. So I found a bag of really cute Patriotic stuff that I had left over from last year that I forgot that I had. I'm going to show you in a minute here. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cheat here. I'm going to stop at 5 poofs on this one because that's pretty darn full. You know, you can't even really tell that I have 5 there and not 6. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm a little bit nervous about this end piece that I had to cut some off. And I just want to make sure that I have enough. So, and you know, when you're measuring, you know, I might have one piece that's a little bit longer. I might have one piece at 11. I might have one piece, you know, I'm trying to measure it as exactly as I can. But I'm going to stop at 5 on that one, just because I want to make sure that I'm going to have enough. And I think I'm going to be okay because it looks pretty full there.
Good evening, Christina. It's Rose.
What's that?
I said, good evening. It's Rose.
Hi, Rose. When did you pop in?
Just a couple minutes ago, I'm down here in Florida at my mother-in-law's, and I'm like, okay, I got to get popped in.
Nice. How is the weather in Florida, Rose?
It's raining the next couple of days, but nice and warm in the 70s.
Oh, good. We actually had a nice day up here. It was almost 60 degrees.
Oh, good.
Heat wave for upstate New York. And you live in Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah.
normally? Yeah, because I remember Pammy said that she met you. Was it Pam that met you? And
I met Pam Reiger, yeah.
yes, I call her Pammy.
Hmm.
Didn't you meet her like at a Hobby Lobby or something like that?
Yeah, we met at the opening of the new Hobby Lobby.
Of course, you guys are both going to be there.
We wouldn't be there on opening day. Come on. All right, I'm going to just continue watching the video. I'll let you
Yeah,
go.
my dear. So as I was telling everybody, Rose, since you just popped in, is Miss Emily Burnett here was kind enough to do the math for us here. If you're doing 10-inch poofs and you're doing 6 per section, because you're squishing them over here, you should have enough, just enough mesh in one roll to do 6 per section on a 14-inch wreath form, because there's 6 sections here. But I stopped at 5 on this last one because I'm, sort of questioning my measuring, how precise my measuring is. And I just don't want to run out. I want to make sure that I have enough. So if you feel more comfortable doing 5, if you feel more confident in your measuring skills, then by all means continue to do 6. I just want to make sure that I'm going to have enough.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
And we're going up underneath the 2 middle bars with a half a pipe cleaner. I told them if it's a little difficult for you to try to hold on to your poof and push the pipe cleaner through, you can go ahead and put your pipe cleaners on ahead of time. That's fine. You can use zip ties, but the reason I went with the pipe cleaners is because if I screw up and I want to take one off and redo it, it's a heck of a lot easier to undo the pipe cleaner than it is to have to cut the zip tie and start over that way. But I've seen it done both ways. Look how pretty that is. Can't see the wreath form. It's so pretty and fluffy. I'm looking at my roll of mesh go down here and I'm thinking, okay, let's have enough. I think we'll be okay. I was in heaven yesterday at Hobby Lobby. They had all their spring stuff 40% off, and I did snap a couple of pictures. The only thing that I get discouraged by is a lot of the signs are just too big. Too big for a wreath, in my opinion. I like my signs to be on the moderate side. I don't like my signs to overpower my wreath. Unless you're using a work wreath form and your finished wreath is going to be huge anyway, I like smaller signs. And a lot of the signs they had were pretty big, but some of them were nice size. What do we have here? We have 4 in this one.
Christina, when we were at the opening of the new one, me and Pam, I said to the manager there the very same thing. I said, you guys got beautiful signs, but for wreath makers, they're way too big.
Yeah, I don't think they really think about that.
Yeah, and she said to me that we all needed to get together and contact Hub and let them know, make this thing smaller. That's the only way.
Yeah. Contact corporate, is that what she said?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't think they're really thinking about it. They're thinking about home decor. People are going to hang these signs on their walls and stuff. I don't think they really get, what everybody really uses them for. Did I show you, did you guys see the picture that I posted in the group the other day of these little storage boxes that I got from TJ Maxx? And my daughter's like, Mom, why are you buying storage boxes? But look how pretty those are. And I can just take it off and it's light. If I want to maybe put a Mod Podge on it or a sealant, because it is cardboard, you know. But wouldn't that be cute in a wreath? I don't know what the heck I'm gonna do with that, but they're only $4 each. Tell me those aren't pretty. So that's what I think now when I go anywhere is, can I put that in a wreath? That's what I think. Anyway. I'm pulling my whole, I'm gonna take this off of here now because it's sort of like getting in the way. I don't think I can though because I already strung it through, so now I'm stuck with it there. I'm going to stick with my 5 per section now, I think, because it's not really making that big of a difference. And I just want to make sure I have enough. And again, if you have your poofs measured exactly at 10 inches, you're going to be fine, but I just want to be on the safe side here because I'm doubting my measurements. This is the only challenging part, trying to hold your poof and pull your pipe cleaner through. I'm gonna let that fall on the floor there. 2 more sections to go. It goes pretty quickly. We're just under an hour here. Once you get going, it goes pretty quick. I need a bigger table, I'll tell you what. Guys, I will be right back. I'm so sorry. Somebody's chatting me. You just have to run to the little girl's room. I'm finally here. Hi, Deborah. Deborah, I have to run to the little girl's room. I'm so sorry. Everybody take a coffee break. I will be right back. slowly all over the garbage can. Move away. Not. But grab the old smile. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Okay, guys, I'm so terribly sorry about that. That never happens to me. I never have to go to the bathroom in the middle of class, and I apologize for too much information. No, Deborah, you didn't make me disappear. That never ever happens. I have no idea. Okay. And she's saying LOL. Deborah, does your microphone not work, honey? I have to like stop and let me just keep my chat button up so I can see what you're saying. Okay. Deborah, I thought you were in the jacuzzi. I was jealous. I thought I saw something on your page that you were going to jump into your jacuzzi. Now this mesh holder is starting to annoy me now. I can't remember the last time I was in a jacuzzi. I'm trying to think. I know my daughter, who is now in Colorado, she lived and worked in the Hamptons down in Long Island for 2 years after she graduated college. And, you know, I haven't done a lot of traveling in my life. You know, I was a single mom. I was busy raising my kids and working 2 jobs and all that kind of stuff. And so I never really had a lot of time to travel. And I'm telling you something, the Hamptons are absolutely gorgeous. And, you know, yeah, there's rich people there. They're kind of snooty. But it really wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. There was a ton of nice people. And the nicest thing about her living down there was she got to go to the private beaches for free. And the beaches were absolutely gorgeous. So that was sort of like, you know, a really nice experience for me because just laying on the beach and, you know, I love the ocean. I love the water. And I'm going to miss it. Now I get to go see the mountains instead because she's in Colorado. This poof might be just a little bit too big. Let's try this again. She's coming home for Mother's Day. I'm so excited. I haven't seen her since January. I'm so excited. This is going to be really pretty. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love that mesh. Maybe I shouldn't have put it in this mesh holder because it's really starting to annoy me.
How you doing, Goofball baby?
Does somebody have a question? I heard somebody's unmuted.
You're unmuted.
How many do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to continue doing
I'm trying to figure it out.
4 because I just want to make sure, or 5 because I just want to make sure I have enough. Actually, 5 or 6 is a good amount, you know? They're still pretty, these are 6 over here and these are 5, and you really can't even tell. You know what I mean? You cannot even tell.
Did I unmute it?
Who's that?
Debbie?
Somebody did. I don't know. Oh, there you go. Oh, you're talking. Okay.
Yeah, this is Deborah Lynn.
Hello, dear.
Hi,
I have a question for you, though.
go ahead.
What's a chocolate, whatever it was that you had to drink? What was that?
Oh, the toasted marshmallow martini.
Oh, God, that sounds delicious.
It was scrumptious. Trust me. And it's so
Ah.
easy to make.
That sounds really good. We
Yeah,
have
my
this.
husband saw the warm weather in Michigan. We actually hit 52 today, and everybody was out and about.
Just like us, Deborah. We had in upstate New York, it was like 55, 57 degrees. It was sunny. I was out cleaning my yard today and.
Oh, me
spraying
too.
out
And guess
the
what?
back.
Florida would have had their coats on. They would have been had their scarves on.
No, I
their
know,
boots
I know.
on. Yeah.
But it's like summer when it gets above 50 degrees here because it's been so cold and snowy for so long.
Oh, absolutely. I get you.
Oh my gosh.
So,
We
yeah.
went to Lowe's and I got some paint and I was touching up the paint outside my house. Yeah,
I love this method.
I do too. Do I have 5 here or do I have 6? I don't know. Let's just keep going here. Isn't it nice? Like I said, you weren't here at the beginning. I'm not a big poof fan, but I like them when they're squished together like this.
I do too. I do poof only to cover it like everybody else does. But
Yeah.
this, you can just put a sign in the middle and be done with it.
Yep, exactly. See, this type of, you don't really, see, I'm not going to add ribbon to this. You can because of the pipe cleaners, but
No, that
because
would
of
be
the way, because
Actually,
of how
that
they're
would
so
be
squished
something.
together, the ribbon won't lay right.
I don't think it would look good with ribbon.
No, I don't think so either.
It just needs itself and a sign, to be
Yep,
honest.
I agree.
So, no, I'm good with all that.
The only thing, like I said, it's a little bit challenging to try to hold your poof and your pipe cleaner at the same time. So again, if you want to add your pipe cleaners ahead of time, you can do that.
Yeah, I will have to see how that works because I really like this. And I think for other people that are learning how to do different things that might sell better, this would be the perfect thing
Yeah.
without a lot of expense to be at a craft shop.
And you have 1 roll of mesh. You can
Great.
you can make this wreath for under $15.
Exactly. And
Yep.
it's pretty.
Thank you.
Nope, I love it.
Me
That's
too.
why I tried to get out of the jacuzzi. So I could
Really? And again, if you have the Dollar Tree wreath form, which is what this is, you
okay.
do the 2, you're going around the 2. If you can see, you're going around the 2 bars
Okay.
in the middle there with your pipe cleaner. If you happen to have a wreath form that just has 1, you just go around the middle. But look, it's so nice and clean in the back
That's
too.
what I was just gonna say. It's so
Yeah.
much cleaner.
Yep. And again, I was telling everyone else, you can use zip ties. I used a zip tie at the very beginning just to hold my first piece in there.
Right.
But the reason why I prefer to use pipe cleaners is because if you mess up and you don't like the size of your poof,
Cut it.
you gotta cut the zip tie, and yeah, it's a pain in the neck. This way you just have to take your pipe cleaner off.
This
And
is one
what I'm trying to do too, Debbie, is as I'm going along, is I'm trying to fold my ends under, because it just gives it a nicer look when your cut ends or not your cut ends, but when the ends are underneath for your poof.
No, I like this one.
I found a bunch of 4th of July patriotic stuff, little signs and cutie little things. So I have a couple.
I know
of
I was at
options.
a Hobby Lobby too. I got a bunch.
No, I found this in my stash. I had it from last year. But I did get a cute sign yesterday. at Hobby
When you
Lobby.
posted the flamingo ones, I'm like, oh my God, I got
They're
those.
big though. Those signs were big.
I
Oh,
know.
but did you see the little one that I got? The little
Yes,
I posted it in the comments.
yes, I did.
Oh my God, I'm dying. Hold on, I gotta show you guys again if you didn't see. My daughter took off and went to the mall and left me there, and she shouldn't have done that. She left me there unsupervised. But I only spent $46.
Yeah, you never leave an adult that crafts at a craft
But
store.
this is so cute, and I want to make like a cherry wreath.
Oh, I didn't see that. That is very cute.
It's tiny.
But
And then I got, this is actually a pillow, but it's really cute. Yeah.
oh, I like that.
And then I got the beach sign. These were like $3 each. These were
Yeah, I know. Yep, I saw those too.
and I had to get, this was the last one. I had to get that flamingo one.
I didn't see that one.
Isn't it? You know where it was? It wasn't with the spring stuff. It was with the wooden signs.
Oh,
Which
I
is,
like
I don't know
that.
how your Hobby Lobby is set up,
Yep.
but are they all set up the same way?
No. I don't know.
Like, you know how the section in the middle has all the metal signs and the wood
And I have
signs?
gotten other.
It wasn't near the other flamingo or the spring stuff. It was with the signs.
Correct.
Yeah. So.
I really like this.
Aw. You sure you don't want to get back in your jacuzzi?
Nope, I'm done. I was in there for an hour.
Nice.
Pool's gonna be open this week. I'm good.
All right, I need to come over now. This is not fair.
Yeah, but I'm Michigan, so we have the same weather.
Right.
So not pool weather, but I'm having a baby shower. You saw my wreath with the elephant.
Yes.
That was made by Dora.
I love her signs.
I know. She makes anything you want. She's a godsend to our community. I don't know the birth, so she just put it out there and made it. I told her mint or yellow, and she made it yellow, so I made the wreath around the yellow.
Nice.
So yeah, she's great. She's great.
All right, you know what? I'm at the end of my roll, so let's hope and pray here.
So it's one whole roll. Cool.
Yep. And Emily, who is watching with us, Miss Emily, was kind enough to do the math. And she said that if your measurements are precise, which I can't say that mine are, but if your measurements are precise and you do 6 10-inch poofs per section and you have a 30-foot roll of mesh, you should have just enough. But again, you know, to be on the safe side, or what I did was I did a couple of sections that just had 5 poofs because I just wanted to make sure that I had enough. And it's going to be kind of hard for you to see what I'm doing because I'm getting down to the end here, and I want to. It's going to be kind of a tight squeeze for me to be able to even see what I'm doing. I think we're going to be good though. And then when you're all done, you can go through and fix your poofs and make sure that everything is the way. Oh, I'm just doing something here. Where did I lost my buttons. Hold on. Sorry for my head, for my blonde head. I think this is going to be my last poof here. I don't even know how many I have in this last section, but it looks like it's going to work. Where's my last section here? 1, 2, 3. I'm actually only going to end up having 4 in this last section, but you know what? It's going to work. I think what I would do if I was you guys, I started out with 6. Maybe I would alternate because again, there's no guarantee that you're going to get your measurements correct. It's you know, unless you are really, really careful when you're measuring. But again, I had to cut off a little bit of extra on the end because my end was fraying. So, you know, I may have lost a couple of inches there. So, you know what I would actually do? I would do maybe 5 in one and 6 in the next one. Now, I have this little piece here that's sort of like, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like 4 inches. It's got a piece of tape on the end here. Hold on. I don't really know if I want to cut that. I might just end up tucking it in. Hold on a second here, because I don't really want to cut that off. And I may be able to use this to my advantage. So let's see. So I have this little piece hanging here. I'm going to see if I can even just try to tuck it in, because this is so tightly squeezed together that I may see that. I'm just kind of folding it in, and it's curling in on itself anyway, because it's the very end of the roll. So kind of use that to your advantage. Tuck those cut ends in so you don't have any little frayed pieces coming out at you. What is this over here? And you come over here. Look how I tucked my mesh. Yeah, I know, I'm crazy. I don't really want to, whoops. It's looking a little wonky over there though. I may need to. Just sort of play with it a little bit, so, because you want that uniformity. At least I do anyway, because I'm totally OCD about stuff like this. I think that's good. Sometimes you gotta know when to walk away though. You can sit there and you can play with it for hours, and then you just kind of gotta say, okay. If you're the kind of person that wants perfect poofs, you can sit there and play with it until you get the look that you want. But sometimes having it a little, what do you think? I think that looks great. And this thing is going to be moved because it's annoying me. What do you think, you guys? Anybody? Should I unmute you or?
It looks great.
Yeah, Jamie, Joanna, what do you think? Or Joanne?
I
Sorry
love
for
it.
calling you Joanna.
That's all right.
Joanna in the group too here.
Christina, this is Jamie. That looks amazing. I actually finished mine and still had like 4 inches left over, but it looks all even though.
You think so? This
I think so.
This poop is a little wonky, but I'm not gonna.
That looks good.
Oh, thank you.
Wait to watch.
What color mesh do you have, Jamie? You have this mesh?
No, I don't. It's got a little bit of brown, the blue, and the white in there. I'll take a picture and put it on. We get done.
I love this method. I really like. It's like a no fail. You can't not make it look good. It's impossible.
Yeah.
I don't think it needs any kind of ribbon or embellishments or anything like that. A lot of my customers don't like the mesh covered up, you know.
I don't either. I actually don't either. What I'll do is when I hang it on my wall, see, it's hard for me to look at because it's like I'm looking up at my laptop and seeing the image on my screen, and then I'm looking down at it on the table. A lot of times I can't really tell if it needs adjusting until I get it on my wall. But what I was going to do, I have a couple of signs that I actually got last year. Going behind the laptop.
I would just put a star or something, maybe.
What's that?
I would just put a star or something, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think I have a star. Actually, what I have is, this is actually something I got. This I wouldn't be using this whole thing because it's way too big. But this is something that I got from the Dollar Tree last year.
Oh,
with the intention of taking it apart and maybe just using one of them. But I think the whole thing would maybe be too big. It's a little bit too overwhelming for it. I have that, so maybe I could just take off one and maybe just do like the I Love America, you know, maybe do it off to the side, something like that, you know, or just maybe put it in the center. I have that. I actually have another pillow. Look at this cute little pillow that I got last year.
Oh, cute.
Isn't that so cute? I could maybe put the little pillow in there. You know, I could do that. That's another option. I have another sign that I got last year from Dollar Tree. This God Bless America sign. That might be a little bit too big for it, though. That might be a little bit too overwhelming. No?
Yeah.
Yes?
Like
I
it.
don't think so. I like
Too
it.
big?
Yes,
I
I like it.
You do like it? You don't think it's
I
too
do.
big?
Nope.
So that's an
Just-
option. And
Yeah,
then
just
this
that
one,
with the sign looks good.
this one I just got yesterday from Hobby Lobby. This might be a little bit too rustic though because of the mesh. I don't know. Because the
I
mesh
like
is,
that.
yeah.
I like it too.
I like that one too.
I just got this yesterday at Hobby Lobby for 40% off. So, because you know when you go in there, you buy all the sale stuff, but you still have to use that 40% off coupon on something. Am I the only one that does that? I have to
No,
find
I
something.
do it.
I actually think that's your best choice.
You think so?
Yep.
I was wondering because the colors aren't as bright as the mesh. You see
Yeah.
what I mean? It's a little more rustic looking. But if you guys like it, then I'll use it.
I think it stands out more.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Yay!
No,
Don't you guys love this method? Are you excited?
I am excited to do it.
All that 21-inch mesh that you had no idea what the heck you were going to do with it. But guess what? Watch the Mother's Day.
I
class.
almost like this mesh.
What's that?
I like this mesh method better, only because that's all you need is a sign. Now
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
go
I
to
actually have
and have a cheaper method.
I had
Mm-hmm.
some little stars I was going to use, but I don't know where the heck they went. I thought they were in this bag. I had some little gold or some little sparkly red and red, white, and blue stars, but I don't really think it needs anything else. You know?
I think it looks perfect as is.
Oh, thank you.
See, I'm glad I joined.
See? And you have to watch the Mother's Day class too, because I'm going to show you another way to use 21-inch mesh that you're going to probably like just as much.
I'm almost just finished moving, so I'm doing baby steps.
Yay! And guess what? It's only 9:18 and we're already done, unless you guys want to sit and just chit-chat for a while.
Oh, I know. I love that. That's the sign that goes with that.
Yay! What does everybody else think? Yes?
I think it looks great.
I do too. Now I just have to put some, what do you call it? I have to get some pipe cleaners on it so I can secure it. So,
You know what would be good with that, Christine, too, is the, you know, the, I don't know, the Wismic, like sprays. You know what I'm talking about?
oh, I see what you're saying. Like the sprays that come out. Yeah. I don't have any of those, but I could definitely get some. Just like maybe
You
a
know what
couple
I'm
on
saying?
there.
Put behind your sign like firecrackers, like the star.
Yeah,
You know
absolutely. Just put a couple up in here.
what I mean? Yes.
I actually,
And that would look great.
I have these, but they're not, hold on a second here.
You know what I'm saying, though.
I thought I had these cute little, I had these cute little, what do you call it? Little stars. I don't know where the heck they went. I love when I find stuff that I didn't know that I had, that I forgot that I
Oh,
had.
my whole basement's like that.
Like I have these.
Yeah. Like
These aren't really sparkly
Great.
though.
Exactly.
These are like pipberry type things.
Great. Take them apart and like, look, you know, they would be awesome. Exactly.
Something like that.
Yes. Embellishments.
Because yes.
How cute.
I'm just sort of like sticking them in there like that now.
See,
So
see how cute. It brings out the sign like the stars are going further toward the left.
yep.
Probably be your right, but
I need
you know
to
what
cut
I'm
this
saying.
wire off the top here. This wire's kind of getting in the way. But I
See,
saw
that
this.
Really
I saw
cute.
this right when I walked in the door. This sign. It was
But
right
see,
there, like you
now-
know when you walk in the door and they have.
But see where the stars, they continue to my left. That might be your right, but see how cute that looks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love.
Well, I'm gonna put those in then, I guess. I need to get this wire off so I can secure my sign. So.
That looks awesome.
Oh, thank you. All right, I gotta get off and take a picture so I could post it. And please let me see yours. I can't wait to see yours when you guys all do yours.
Game plan.
All righty.
Thank
Have a
you.
great night, everybody.
Good night, Christina.
Bye.
Thanks for joining me. Good night.
Night.